What's up, guys? In this video, I'm going to show you how to handle situations where the girl is being low investment or giving you a lack of compliance. And I'm going to walk you through exactly when you should persist, when you should give up, and how exactly you can go about turning those around. So there are essentially two reasons why a girl will be low investment or non-compliant. The first is that she's simply a time waster. This is what we call girls who are on, whatever dating app for validation, for Instagram followers, because they're bored, but they have zero intention of meeting up with anyone, regardless of how good their text game is or whatever the fuck that person says. In terms of cold approach, this is the kind of girl who gives you her number just because she's being nice. She has no desire to go on a date with you at all. So I'm going to walk you guys through an example of what something like this will look like. Here's one from one of my clients. He opens a girl with swipe right for possibly nice booty. She just responds with two emojis. He says, "Am I wrong?" She doesn't respond. He says, "And the best texting award goes to," and she says, "Got me. I'm not on here a lot," right? So she's fully owning that she doesn't give a shit. She's not saying, "Oh shit, sorry, I should be better about texting," or something like that, which would suggest that she's at least somewhat taking it seriously. She's just like, "Yep, I don't give a shit." And he says, "Have you ever met a guy from Tinder's?" And she doesn't respond. So this is a classic example of a time waster. Another one is, "Does this mean we're dating now?" She says, "I haven't even met you." So pretty negative answer. He says, "Not yet, no, but you're dying to find out what I have planned for our date." It's not bad. It's not the best text game, but it's certainly not bad. She just responds with, "I'm curious." It's a very low investment response. He says, "I'll share, but first give me the basics. Any piercings, crazy ex-boyfriends? What's the best and worst compliment you've ever gotten? Superpowers?" Again, not the best text game, but it's also not terrible. She just responds with pineapples, like a little troll answer. Like she just has no desire to even engage in a conversation. And he says, "Are you always a shithead with guys you find hot?" This is somewhat amusing. Says, "What are you trying to say?" And then the whole thing, just gets a little argumentative. And she's always responding, with one sentence, one word answers. And the whole thing rapidly goes nowhere. So a dead giveaway that a girl will fall into the time waster category is if she never invests. She's not investing in the beginning. She's not investing in the middle, and she's not investing before the conversation ends. And the best thing you can do if a girl falls into this category is just recognize it and move the fuck on. The one caveat is, if the girl looks foreign, typically what I like to do is ask her if she speaks English, because there's been several cases where the girl was giving me low investment responses right off the bat, but it wasn't that she was a time waster, it was just that she didn't speak English. And once I said, "Do you prefer if we speak in this language?" Usually it's Spanish because I live in Miami, and then right away she starts investing a lot more. So assuming it's not the language barrier and she's just giving you the first few screenshots, just low investment responses, bad sign, not going to go anywhere, don't even bother. The second reason a girl might be non-compliant or low investment is because of something that is related to you, or more commonly, something that she perceives is related to you. And a good indicator that a girl falls into this category is if she was investing at one point and then her investment drops off. So that if at some point there was a sign of investment, there's a sign of her, really engaging in the conversation, and then for some reason she just starts giving you one-word answers, then it's much more likely that she falls into this category. So the first thing you need to do, and these are the ones where you actually have some control over. So the first category, there's nothing you can do about it. Might as well not even bother with it. With this one, you actually have a lot of control. The first step is to figure out why exactly, what exactly is the issue? What exactly is, turning her off? What exactly is she concerned about? What the underlying root cause of this whole thing is. So I'm gonna walk you guys through, several examples of this. So this is a chick who I had a date set up with, and the day of the date, I text her the Ryan Gosling meme. She says hello. I say, "Hey, still good for tonight?" And she says, "Nope, sorry, can't tonight." But she's giving me a very simple, "Nope, sorry." It's not like, "Hey, sorry, my thing got sick, blah, blah, blah," or, "Can we reschedule?" It's just like a very straight up. So I'm like, okay, something's clearly up here, right? So I say, "Breaking my heart," and she just says, "Sorry." Yet she doesn't offer an explanation. So here I start digging a little bit. I say, "Is it because I'm ugly?" And then she just says, "You're not ugly." So one thing you gotta keep in mind is girls won't just most of the time they won't just be like, "Hey, actually this is the issue," right? They're just gonna play dumb. They're gonna give you low investment responses. They might ghost. But you have to dig and figure out what the underlying, thing that's going on here. So then I say, "Okay, so you're just nervous then?" She's not nervous at all, to be honest. So then I just go with this test. Okay, why don't we cut to the part where you just tell me what's up? You can't be afraid to really dig and figure out what's going on. She says, "Haha, well, to be honest, I didn't feel like seeing someone who didn't put any effort in talking to me first." So the underlying thing here is that she attributes that, I must not be interested in her because I haven't really been texting her that much, which is kind of true. Our interaction earlier was pretty short. But it doesn't mean that I'm not interested, it just means that I don't want to fucking dick around, texting all day. So then I say, there we go, her name. And if I'm being honest, I prefer to get to know someone in real life rather than over text. And notice how much more she starts investing now that we address the underlying concern. Like she goes from sending me, one, 2 word answers to like actually writing paragraphs. Because normally I wouldn't have a problem doing that if we're meeting in a public place. But under these kind of circumstances, what kind of public place would we be meeting at? I say my romantic balcony, my dog will chaperone, so it'll be semi-public. She says, sorry, that's not a situation I'm comfortable with, at least if I haven't got to know you first. And I say, okay, I have a good idea. She says, what is it? I'm going to go sleep soon, but tomorrow night, let's chat on the phone for a bit. She says, how about we FaceTime? So here, we're getting into some flirting. I say, you kids in your FaceTime. She says, LMAO, you're not that much older than me. I say, what if I'm camera shy? So again, now, I kind of pushed a little bit now, pulling back and teasing her a little bit. Now I'm getting her to be the one that chases. She says, you don't really have reason to be camera shy. So here she pays me a compliment. I say, you know me so well. All right, we can FaceTime for a few minutes. She says, what are you doing now? I say, finishing up a video for work. And she's like, you're up for a call, not FaceTime. She's actually trying to get me on the phone, at that very moment. So in this situation, I recognize that the issue is simply lack of comfort. She feels that I just don't give a shit about her. I just want to order her like, 1-800-PUSSY Express. And she just doesn't feel good about that. So I recognize that this can be easily solved with a phone call and building some comfort. All right, let's take a look at another example of a girl who fell into the low investment, non-compliant category that was able to turn around. And again, this was, leading up to this, there was one point where she was investing a lot. We actually talked on the phone for like 20 minutes, which is a huge sign of investment. We had scheduled a fuck date, and then she actually rescheduled on it, so we scheduled it for a few days from that point. And this is where this kind of picks off, and she's just being kind of flaky. Like she's giving me these one-word answers. Her investment just radically drops off. So I say yes, she says nope. I say what question mark, and she doesn't respond. So then I say no wussing out, and this is related to a joke we had earlier where I was telling her that she's a wuss. She's the kind of girl who just makes plans and she talks a big game, but she's never able to deliver. And this is just very much related to her personally. This is not going to work on every girl. So she says wow, so she doesn't respond. So then I followed up. I say, wow, genuinely didn't take you to be that type of girl. So this was the day of the date, and she doesn't respond. So at that point, I let day and a half go by, and then I say, to be 100% honest, I'm actually not surprised. I had a feeling you were a wuss. Cute, but all talk, unfortunately. So this works here because it had, I had already kind of built the whole wuss thing. I had already kind of laid the, I was like, listen, if you flake, it's because you're a wuss, right? So I had kind of said that, and she had already invested a lot leading up to this interaction. So she went into this with the intention of meeting me. It's just that something had changed. Says not really. So like the previous girl, she doesn't offer up the reason on a silver platter. She makes me dig a little bit. I say, what do you call this then? And she's, why are you still up? Question mark. I'm just full on, trying to get to the bottom of this. I say, answer my question. Says, I told you before that I have issues to resolve. Remember, FaceTime question mark. And at this point, I'm not going to give her that. I say, no, if you want to see me, I'm coming over. She says, why are you still up though? Answer my question. I say, I'll tell you when I come over. So it's a little bit of a power exchange. And at this point, actually, there was a phone call. She calls me after I say, I'll tell you when I come over. She calls me and I pick up and we chat on the phone for maybe 5-10 minutes. And then so during the phone call, she tells me that she had some personal shit and she was a little bit nervous, but now she feels better. So then I say address. She says, are you walking here? I say driving. She gives me her address. 1 or 2 p.m., coming over in 20 minutes. I actually wound up going over there and fucking the shit out of her. And I slapped her ass really hard to give her payback, but unfortunately she enjoyed it way too much. But basically what happened here was, I really started digging. I figured out what the underlying reason was, what was going on. It was like some weird personal shit that she had going on. And then, got her on the phone, built some comfort again, and sealed the date, and then, made it happen through that. All right, so let's take a look at one last example. So exactly the same story as the previous two. This chick was investing a lot. At one point, we had matched on Bumble. We were sharing dog pics. It was onto a good track. And then, she kind of started dropping off when I was trying to make plans. She said, oh, can I get back to you later? I just have this and this going on. Can I let you know in a few days? So I say, sure. And then I wait a week. She doesn't say anything. So I follow up with her with a classic picture of Rhaegar looking sad and saying, Rhaegar misses you, right? Which is a text that you'd have to be pretty fucking cruel not to respond to. And believe it or not, she doesn't say anything. So I wait a few days and send my standard follow-up text to that, which is, you're making him cry. And she just responds with literally, hey, like giving me a one-word answer to all that. So here I say, she lives. So here I'm just subtly pointing out the fact that she's just been kind of ghosting me and not bought her way. And here she's a little bit more forthcoming than the other girls. She just says, can I be honest with you? I already told you about my anxiety. So she had previously mentioned that she has like social anxiety. I say, you can always be honest with me. So here I'm rewarding, her opening up. She says, what are you looking for? I say, cool girl I have chemistry with. Then she says, but do you want a girlfriend? Also, do you have Insta? So she's here subtly communicating two concerns she had, which is likely why she stopped responding. First is that she thought I was going after a one-night stand. Secondly, she thought I might be a catfish, which is why she's asking me for my Instagram. Or she just wants to make sure I'm one of the cool kids. Either or. So I give her my Instagram. She says, I just followed you. I say, this is starting to get serious. So, as much as I will dig in some situations, I'll also crack jokes, especially in situations like this when it's contextually appropriate. She says, I know. And then she sends me a picture of herself and she says, sending work selfies. I say, I guess we'll find out soon enough. So typically when a girl will send me a selfie, I'll actually, unless it's like an ass pic, if it's just a picture of her, I typically won't comment on that to kind of deny her the validation. So she says, yeah, if you're more consistent. So here she tries to give me a shit test. It fails. I say, more consistent, question mark. She says, yeah, and like texting me. So here what she's doing is trying to make it seem like this whole thing is because of my lack of communication, which is not going to fly. So I say, you do realize I've been trying to make plans with you for almost a month now, right? So when you get shit like that, when a girl's like being a little absurd, you don't want to get overreactive. You don't want to be like, are you fucking crazy? Like, you just want to be very matter-of-factly. But you also don't want to be a total pushover either. She says, I'm a girl, remember. I say, don't worry, I haven't forgotten. We men appreciate a little effort as well. So a little frame flip, like, hey, you have to try as well. She says, can I FaceTime you later tonight? I say, yes, I should be free after 10. She says, I'll wait till your other girlfriend leaves. That's the spirit. And so we actually wound up texting a little bit back and forth, but ultimately she did wind up coming over and we hooked up. But basically what happened here was that, she was giving me non-compliance. I started prodding a little bit, being a little persistent. And then this case, she was actually pretty forthcoming. She told me her underlying concerns and objections, which was mainly that I might be a catfish, that I was just looking for a one-night stand, that I wouldn't get her. I dealt with all that, and as a result, I was able to get the meetup. All right, so let's quickly recap. There's essentially two reasons why a girl is going to be non-compliant. The first one is that she's simply a time waster, and a girl falls into this category is if she was never investing in the conversation. The second is because of something negative that you did or the girl attributes to you or attributes to your interaction, something along the lines of that. And that one you usually have a lot of control over, and the first step usually is to figure out exactly what it is. And you might have to be persistent, you might have to double text, you might have to triple text. You're going to have to basically dig to figure out what the underlying concern or concerns are. Once you do that, you can address them. Sometimes it'll be over text. Quite often it'll require a phone call or, voice memos are another powerful tool. For example, if it's something like a lack of comfort, voice memos is going to be your best bet leading up to a phone call. If it's something more of like, she thinks that you're just after a one-night stand or something along the lines of that, then you can probably address it over text. But either way, you have to get to the underlying concern and then address it, and that's how you turn around low compliance and get the date. All right, hopefully you guys found this video valuable. And if you've been enjoying some of the Playing with Fire content, then I do have one big ask. Hit the subscribe button right now and tell your friends, tell your family, tell your creepy uncle, tell whoever, and help us get to 10,000 subs so I can keep putting out awesome content for you guys. If you're curious about the last two interactions and you want to see the full Larry reports, they're available in the forums at forums.playingfire.com. And if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching, and until next time.
Playing with fire. It's better than playing with yourself.